Good evening, everybody. This is a simple lesson, no pun intended, but we are going to deal with fractions looking at placing them in their simplest form and or identifying them as to whether or not they're already in their simplest form. So here we go. When we are trying to take factors and we're trying to put them in their simplest form or find out if they're in their simplest form, we're looking to see if we can divide a factor into both the bottom number and the top number evenly. In other words, we're looking to see if we can find any common factors between the denominator and the numerator. Okay? So, in this particular case, we're just going to identify whether or not this is in its simplest form. And I can tell you now the answer is no, you've got it, because I can find the common factor of 2 for each of these. And so if I'm looking at the common factor of 2, then 2 would go, excuse me, 2 would go into 4 evenly, and that would go in 2 times, and 2 would go into 10 evenly 5 times. I can look at this number here and just test to make sure I have the simplest form by simply saying, is there another common factor between 2 and 5? And if there is not. And so therefore I stop and say, this is my simplest form. Now we want to go ahead and take a look at finding out, how do we place it in its simplest form? Well, I kind of just said it. So I would do the same process here that I did here. I'm going to find out what is my largest common factor for 4 and 12. And so I'm going to say, in other words, what number can go evenly into 12 and 4? And that number would be, well, 2 is correct, but it would also be 4, because 4 can go into 12 3 times, and 4 can go into 4 evenly 1 time. And so therefore, I have 1/3 as my simplest form. Now, one last thing so that you can remember. This one simply is asking yes or no. In other words, is 4/10 the simplest form in its simplest form? And the answer is no, because this is its simplest form. In this particular case, we're asking you to find the simplest form. And in order to do that, we're looking for our common factors like we did up here. But we're identifying our simplest form, and we're not answering with a yes or a no. Now, I'm going to leave you with a problem tonight. I want you to tell me if 3/5 is in its simplest form. If it is not in its simplest form, then find the simplest form and be prepared to share that information with me tomorrow. Have a good evening and happy math studying.